So a couch potato is somebody who never exercises. Yeah, we all know what that means. An active couch potato could be somebody who exercises even every day, goes to the gym every day, goes for a walk every day, even training for a marathon every day. But outside the time of when they're exercising, they're not moving at all, or very, very little. So you might have a 10-hour sitting at a desk job and then you do your 2 hours at the gym. Unfortunately, that 2 hours at the gym isn't enough for your health to offset the damage of sitting. So it's a bit like eating junk food all day and then having a fantastic salad at night.
Welcome everybody back to the Empowering Family Health podcast. Today I have a very, very exciting show that's going to get you moving, because literally we have a movement expert on the show today. Her name's Annette Cashell. And let me introduce Jeanette. Annette Cashell is a movement coach who helps people undo and prevent damage done by excessive sitting. Imagine you can actually do damage to yourself with excessive sitting. So we're going to talk all about that. She's also an ex-corporate. She avoided a neck fusion operation herself, and she now combines her expertise in Pilates and movement to help others thrive with corrective exercises and the lifestyle environmental changes to help support them. Now, Annette has spoken on radio, podcasts, corporate wellness webinars and conferences, and she has also written articles for Arianna, Huffington's Thrive Global, and featured in Grow Wild and the Irish Examiner. So Annette, what an impressive bio. You are very welcome to the show.
Thanks, Joanne. I'm delighted to be here.
Great. And I love Arianna Huffington's work as well. She's a very famous podcast on sleep and how she discovered that through an accident. So, but today, Annette, we are going to talk all about why movement is so important for our health and well-being. But before we dive into that, tell us a little bit about yourself, Annette, and why you've gone on this journey.
Sure. So as you mentioned in my bio, I used to work in corporate. So I was a marketing manager for 10 years and that was my background and I loved my job. I worked in Germany for 8 years. I worked in Silicon Valley for 2, but sitting at a desk just wasn't good for my body. And I also started to fall apart really in my late 20s, where I started to have a really bad back problem. I discovered Pilates, which I didn't even know about at the time. And it just really helped me. So I became a Pilates teacher, gave up my marketing job, became a Pilates teacher. And I continued to work on that for the next 12 years, but my health wasn't great. I still had issues with my joints. So with my wrist, with my knee, eventually with my neck. And I had about 2 years of chronic pain radiating down my arm because it turned out 3 bulging discs in my neck. And I was told I needed a neck fusion operation. Now,
and you're only 20 years of age at this
No, at this stage I was older. I was mid-40s. Yeah, mid-40s. But I've been a Pilates teacher for 10 years, 12 years. I'd given up my desk job. I wasn't stressed. I was sleeping well. I wasn't particularly overweight. And I just couldn't figure out why I kept having these issues if I was doing everything right. According to all the WHO guidelines, I was exercising enough. Why wasn't I thriving? And I did some research and it turns out that I was what they call an active couch potato.
An active couch potato. Well, tell us about that.
Yeah. So a couch potato is somebody who never exercises. Yeah, we all know what that means. An active couch potato could be somebody who exercises even every day, goes to the gym every day, goes for a walk every day, even training for a marathon every day. But outside the time of when they're exercising, they're not moving at all, or very, very little. So you might have a 10-hour sitting at a desk job and then you do your 2 hours at the gym. Unfortunately, that 2 hours at the gym isn't enough for your health to offset the damage of sitting. So it's a bit like eating junk food all day and then having a fantastic salad at night. The salad is really good for you, but it doesn't undo the damage of the junk food you had the rest of the day. There's 2 separate risks, and we're only slowly coming around to realizing that we need to move as well as exercise. But if you hate exercise, you can still move.
Yeah, and I love what you said about the active couch potato. So we have the couch potato, who's the person who just sits there all day and maybe just presses the remote control or whatever. And then the active couch potato who does a very limited amount of exercise, enough that they can get rid of the guilt maybe. But still they're doing excessive sitting, which is kind of like a form of cheating really, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's, you know, I mean, I'm not here to put blame on anybody. We've been told this, you know, the WHO guidelines is 30 minutes activity a day, you know, that you're fine. Tick that off your list. I've
Yeah.
done that. Yeah. But unfortunately, it's not enough. And they've actually known this since 1996. The US Surgeon General wrote a report on it way back in 1996, saying that the risks with excessive sitting is really, really bad because it's linked with serious diseases like obesity, obviously, diabetes type 2, but even certain cancers and premature death. So it literally takes years off your life. And that isn't to say that you can never sit, you know, because we live in a world, we have chairs, you know, we have desk jobs. But if you break up your sitting, it's not as damaging. And that's really the message of hope, that if you move regularly, and that could just mean getting up out of your chair, getting a glass of water, coming back down again, even that little tiny movement is enough to help reduce the damage of excessive uninterrupted sitting.
I'm thinking, Annette, so thousands of years ago, we never had chairs and we evolve and we're great at adapting.
Yeah.
But this sitting, like we've gone from not sitting on chairs, basically, maybe sitting on the ground or whatever.
Yeah.
And the position, how we're sitting now and the excessive sitting, and especially in the last number of months with
Yeah.
the explosion of
Yeah.
Zoom, there's more and more people sitting. So I can just imagine, you know, that's a massive adaptation that the body has to go through. And we can't even adapt because it's not really healthy for us, as you say.
Yeah, exactly. So there are people who think that the you know, the creation of the chair was the end of our health, basically, because before that you would sit on the floor. You know, I'm sitting on the floor now, but I'm sitting on a yoga bolster to make it more comfortable. So changing the way you sit is also helpful. So if you sit on a yoga ball instead of a chair, if you sit on a chair without a backrest, you know, try to sit up without using the backrest, because the backrest does what it says on the tin. You literally rest your back. And that's fine occasionally, but you shouldn't be sitting there all day, you know, leaning back. So there are ways to make sitting less damaging. You know, you don't have to give up sitting. And also, I'd like to say standing is not the solution either. So standing all day is not the solution. You know, standing desks are great, but the goal is not to stand for 8 hours when you used to sit for 8 hours, because that's still sedentary. It's still
Yeah.
sedentary. Yeah, you're burning more calories for a while, but in terms of your health, your body is still still.
Yes.
So that's an important thing. But if you can mix it up between standing, sitting, changing the way you sit, getting up, stretching a little bit, all these little things that we used to do. Like even when I started working in marketing, we didn't have, you know, internal internet in the company. So you would get up.
Those days.
I remember those days, yeah. So you would get up, walk to your colleague, hand over a piece of paper for their in tray, go back to your desk. Then you'd walk to the photocopier. Then you'd walk to the fax machine. You know, so we were actually moving every 20 minutes, every half an hour. Only tiny micro movements. It's not exercise. You're not sweating. You're not doing a jumping jack, but you're getting enough little bits of movement sprinkled throughout your day. And that's where your body thrives. Little bits of movement like that.
No, I love that, Annette, because you know, you were talking about standing as well, and we can stand too much for long period of times, and we can have that the thrombosis and all these kind of vein problems as a result, and the circulation is not good because we're just standing, and heard that quite a lot. My mother was, that's what brought to mind when you said that. But I love what you said, because me as the sleep expert, and I talk about taking regular rest during the daytime, and it's not, when I say take regular rest, it's not taking a nap regularly, although naps are, I am an advocate of naps at the right time, but taking rest, so like if we're on the computer for long periods of time, to get up and move away from it, to break it up, and that's what I mean in terms of a rest. So what you're saying is the small micro movements, like just getting up and walking around. I love, after a call, I know I'll go walking every day, but I might, if I can't, or it's lashing rain or whatever, I might just walk down. I'm looking out the window here. I just walk down to the end of the road and back. And that is, the small things make a massive difference. I think that's the point you're trying to say.
Absolutely, absolutely. The whole idea of moving regularly comes from our origins as hunter-gatherers. You know, our bodies were built to hunt and gather. And that doesn't mean that you have to move all day either. You don't have to be constant. You have to rest. And hunter-gatherers rest a lot as well. So they do their work, but they absolutely rest and they sleep. But we're in this constant state of stress and deadlines, and, you know, like the fight or flight experience that we have. That doesn't mean you have to move all day and sweat all day and raise your heartbeat. It's just literally getting up and doing little things, breaking up your day so you're not still for long periods of time.
Yeah, and using all our body resources, because if we're sitting all the time, the circulation is not moving, that has massive
Yeah.
impacts. We need the
Yeah.
nutrients and the waste to flow around the body. And if we're sitting, we're not allowing that. So, and you know, we're not designed to work 9 to 5. That's what I can hear you saying. So we're not designed. So for all those people with their badges of honor, we're not designed to be working like hard, grinding at 9 to 5. We need to take regular rests and move around. And that's what part of rest is for the
Yeah.
body. And it's really, really important, because we need to do recovery even during the daytime, you know, to get
Yeah.
off task.
Yeah. And I mean, in terms of productivity, studies have shown that people are much more productive when they do take that mini rest.
Absolutely.
So it's just that we've been kind of conditioned now that to work, you need to sit still and have that concentration for long periods of time. Obviously, if you're working on a document, you might be sitting there for an hour and a half and have your earphones on, and that's fine. But in general, you're just trying to sprinkle little bits of movement into your day rather than getting sucked into this. Well, I'll do my work and then I'll do my movement.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's particularly if you're working from home, it's actually a perfect opportunity to, you're constantly being cued actually during the day to move. So for example, if you hear the washing machine finishing, oh, that's your cue to get up and empty it out, rather than, oh, I'll do it after my work, or the cat needs to be let out, or there's somebody at the door. These are not distractions, although they are. Look at it as a movement opportunity. That's the way I look at it now. And it's just changed. It's totally changed the way I look at housework as well. Not that I'm overjoyed at housework, but if you think of it as, oh, now I have to get up, there's a reason for it, or even putting on the kettle, that's another reason to get up and get out of your chair. It's just a different way of looking at things.
Attitude, isn't it? Like going with the flow. Because I do, that's me all over with the washing machine and the cooking the dinner, doing the school runs, all of that. But it's part of my life, so I don't reject it. There's no resistance.
Yeah.
And as you say, it's a great opportunity to move. I love that opportunity to move. That's a good hashtag, opportunity to move.
Yeah, and I should say I avoided the neck fusion operation, so I didn't go that route. Yeah, I didn't go that route. I'm off all meds. This is 5 years ago. So I've avoided that whole thing by adding movement into my day. Now I still exercise. I like exercise, but I have changed the way I sit. Like I sit on the floor a lot. I've changed the shoes I wear. I go out way more. I spend much more time in nature, and I don't look as housework as a distraction. And I also don't look as walking as a boring thing to do, because now I realize I need to get that many steps in a day, but also I'm outside. So mentally, it's so good for my mental health, and it helps me sleep. Yeah. So I look at it as now I'm ticking off loads of things while I'm just walking. It's not just the walk. It's walking to the shops and getting something done. You try to build it into your day so that you're getting the stuff done that you need to get done.
Yeah, absolutely. Necessities. And so that was 5 years ago, and you avoided that operation. And how are you feeling now? Is there any pain or anything, any symptoms?
No pain, no meds, nothing. I'm doing the monkey bars, which I never could do, even as a kid. That's where you go across the bars that way. Yeah. So so for me, it was a real wake-up call. And I brought in these ideas into all my classes. I still teach Pilates, but I bring in what they call natural movement into all the classes, and the lifestyle issues is a big thing for me. So I always say, coming to me for 1 hour a week, that's fine, but you have to change outside what you do outside that 1 hour as well.
Yeah.
You have to, because that's the way you're going to get true health. True health is holistic.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And getting outside, and you spoke about nature as well, getting out in nature. And in my opinion, we're very disconnected with nature, and we are actually we've evolved. We've came from nature. We evolved from bacteria.
Yes.
That's how we were formed, and we've evolved. So we came from nature, and we're part of nature. And you mentioned walking outside as well. And what I like to do first thing in the morning as part of my morning routine is I like to sit outside and have my cup of tea in the sunshine, right? I have my own chair outside and I sit outside. And then after my cup of tea, or maybe while I'm having my cup of tea, I'll walk around barefoot in the grass in my garden. That's what I do. I'll trot around and I'll pull all the dead weeds, or maybe the flowers or whatever. The neighbours must think I'm mad walking around in my bare feet. But hey, it's a great start to the day. And this is only 15 minutes.
Yeah. 15 minutes. Yeah. So important. I mean, you're setting your whole circadian rhythm is there as well. You're also tuning into who you are, and you're grounding. It's a fantastic routine. Even to bring that into your life as a starting point, you will start appreciating nature more, and you'll want to start walking more, because you just become more attuned to nature.
Talk to us about children, Annette, when it comes to moving, because there's a lot more obesity with children these days.
Yeah. Actually, when I kind of fixed my neck, I started thinking about kids because my own kids were in secondary school and it was heading into the serious years where they did a lot of study and they were sitting so much and their back problems were getting really bad. My daughter was born with a spinal issue, so that became quite bad because of all the sitting she was doing because of study. So I started thinking about that whole issue and how if my body was breaking down in my late 20s, what was the next generation going to be like? Because they were more sedentary than I had been, because I had spent time outside climbing trees and stuff. So I developed a program actually for schools, for primary schools, and through the Social Entrepreneurs Ireland program. And it's all the basic ideas again, but volunteers can run it in their schools or teachers. And it comes down to adding little bits of movement into your day as well. So it could be like taking off shoes in school. You know, you can wear slippers instead, or sitting on the floor when it's appropriate, like library time or arts and crafts or sewing. I mean, people used to sit on the floor to sew in the sewing position, you know, or standing a little bit more often, you know, every time you change a subject, stand up for a minute. Little tweaks like this, just kind of bring it back into the school day, and children are then moving more because unfortunately, as you say, life in general is so convenient now. It's so easy not to move. It's not to blame anybody. It's very hard actually to move unless you consciously make a decision. I want to move more and I will not use the elevator. I will walk the stairs, for example. Try finding the stairs at your local shopping centre. It's actually quite hard. It is a challenge. So the whole society is kind of, you know, encouraging you to be more convenient and take the convenient route. So it does take a bit of realization. No, I'm going to change this slightly. I'm going to park further away from the shopping center. I'm going to walk part of the way to school. Even if you can't walk all the way, that's fine. Walk halfway. Walk 5 minutes of the way. The beauty of this is every little bit of movement counts. You don't have to do 10,000 steps all in one go. Even if you do 500 steps, whatever, 10 times, it really, really makes a difference. And people think I have to sweat to feel the difference and to have it. You don't. You really don't.
Yeah, once you get the blood moving, I love all this conversation, Annette, because, and something that you pointed out there was that sparked my mind was trackers and people watching their steps and all of this. And I have the same thing with the sleep as well. And trackers are great for giving you an indication, but here's the problem, in my opinion, is that too many people get addicted to the trackers and they're consistently looking to see what the trackers tell them about how they're feeling rather than feeling their body. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. It's just a benchmark. I would say just use it as a benchmark and you'll go, oh, I didn't realize it was 5,000 steps to walk to school. Isn't that amazing? Or it's only 100 steps if I deadhead the roses. Just to know that is a fantastic experiment. And then you don't have to use it all the time, as you say.
And I love what you're doing in the schools, Annette, because with the kids as well, especially because there's a rise in numbers of type 2 diabetes and obesity, all these health problems with children. And they're definitely living a different lifestyle than we did when we grew up as children. As you say, I was climbing and, you know, out trees and all the rest. And whereas the kids aren't now. And I've actually heard some parents not letting their kids climb the trees in case they fall or something. And I'm like, what?
I know. There's actually, I think it's the WHO is talking about a right to risk now, and that children need a right to risk in order to thrive. So as well as all the other, you know, shelter, food, whatever, there's a certain amount of risk they have to experience to thrive, to develop that skill of dealing with, oh, that's not balanced, I will fall, so I'll adjust accordingly.
Yeah. And another thing as well with the last couple of months, you know, the kids have been even more sedentary with their electronics because they've been home from school or whatever, and they're bored, right? And I think boredom is not a bad thing because that's an opportunity for them to self-regulate themselves, you know, and come up with something. But it really is good. And but what are parents doing? They're just handing them their devices or whatever, and they're sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, my heart goes out to people who are trying to work from home and homeschool during that phase. I don't know how they did it. I really don't. I actually developed a program for families as well. So if people are interested in that, it's called Mini Movement Month. And it's on our website. You can hear the details later, but it just shows you how to add movement into your home to make it more movement friendly, and tiny little ideas. They're really practical, and there's a little chart that you can print out, a colored chart, so kids like to fill that out.
Reward system.
It just kind of gets you aware of, oh, I didn't realize. First of all, there's a sitting calculator. That's the first thing. So you realize how many hours you actually are sitting, because we're all in denial. It's a bit like how many hours we're on our phone. You see the number. So to start off with the sitting calculator is very important. And then you'll start realizing, oh, well, I could stand there. Like, for example, Zoom calls. Every Zoom call you do, if you stand at the start, it's a really good habit to get into, because after 5 minutes you get tired, that's fine, you can sit down. But if you stand at the start of every Zoom call, you're getting a little bit of movement in and you get better at standing a little bit longer. That's a really easy one.
It's a habit, isn't it, as well? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really important. So these small little changes. And just what came to mind is kids hoovering. That's a great little chore that you can give your kids. And I have a reward system in place for my daughter just to get them up and moving, you know. And again, whenever I go on my little, it could be 3-minute walk, honest to God, and we'll go down, and I'll bring Leah with me. I'll bring my daughter with me, and she always comes. She never says no, I don't want to. Always comes out, because I'm trying to. Now, she was very good on electronics, but I have to admit now, over the last number of months, it's kind of fallen down a little bit, you know. But then it comes into the bedtime routine as well. And then I just want to ask you about the bedtime routine in terms of movement. How do you find that helps people sleeping?
Well, I guess it's the idea of sprinkling movement throughout the day so that you're tired enough, you know, to then sleep at night. It doesn't have to be exercise. If you're exercising and you like exercise, keep doing it, but it's not enough. You need to move as well throughout the day. If you hate exercise, look at the movement side. You know, either way, you want to have your body kind of tired so that you're going to sleep better at nighttime. I wouldn't necessarily encourage exercising late at night.
Yeah, no,
you know, because that can kind of wind you up. You don't have to exercise first thing in the morning either. I think listening to your body and seeing what you like is really important. And I think getting joy out of what you do is so important. If you don't like jogging, don't go jogging. I hate jogging. If you like dancing, go dancing. Yeah.
because you know, we can have all these, right, I have to do this, like a checklist, to do this in order to sleep well or to feel well or whatever. But you know what, you're right though, you have to enjoy it. And I'm so delighted that you said that, because there's loads of different things that we can do. But it's really to listen to your body and to choose what makes you feel happy, what brings joy into your life, because we have to have fun about this as well. You know, life is about having fun and being healthy and happy and all the rest as well. So I'm really hear what you're saying, Annette. We're coming near the end. Is there any other tips or something that we haven't covered that you want to throw in there, Annette? That'd be important.
Well, I suppose where to start. People are a bit confused. So the first thing is to sit less. That is the number one goal. If you take away nothing from this conversation, try to sit less in your day. So if you want the guide to that, I have a free guide, how to sit less. You can sign up to my newsletter. You get that. It'll give you the sitting calculator and you'll figure out ways of sitting less. So that's the number one thing. But when you are sitting, try to sit better. So I've actually included I'll show you a wedge here. You won't be able to see it on the audio, but on the video, it looks a bit like, it's a cushion you put on your chair, and it looks a bit like a piece of cheese, you know, a slice of cheese. It's at an angle. And it changes the angle of your chair. Most chairs, when you sit on the edge, you slope back. So this changes the angles. You're sitting on an upward slope, and that changes the way you sit. You start to sit really tall. It's very natural feeling. You won't believe the difference to your neck. I don't sell them or anything. If you don't want to use the wedge, you can just get a towel, you roll it up. You roll up tightly round up a bath towel, put it towards the back of your chair. Not all the way to the back, about 3/4. Sit on that. Again, you're sitting on an upward slope again. That'll change the way you sit. You won't believe the difference in your neck. It'll make slouching very difficult. But all you've done is put a wedge on your chair. So I love little changes like that are very simple. And once they're there, they're done. You don't have to remember, because it's sitting on your chair.
You can use it in the car as well, obviously.
Use it in the car. Once you try, you'll probably buy loads of them. So I have one in the car, my dining chair, and I don't use an office chair, but I have one on office chair for my husband. And the kids use it at the piano as well. So they are great. They are great to have, and really important for your neck.
It's only a few euro. I did have them before, the wedges. I know the ones you're talking about, or even the roll, the couch rolls, or the roll up the towel, if you don't have that much money. So there's no excuse. But and another thing I know you're an advocate of is walking around the house in your bare feet or your socks.
Yeah. Basically ditch the shoes if you can. You know, some cultures this is normal, Germany, Japan, and other places. In Ireland it's not that usual, but if you can get out of your shoes, it makes a world of a difference to your whole body, because your feet are getting closer to their natural state. If you've always worn shoes, it's going to be hard. So don't go from wearing shoes to nothing, and you know, it might not be that comfortable. You can wear slippers. You can wear slipper socks. I really like them with the anti-skid at the underneath. Because if you have wooden floors or tiles, you don't want to slip with every step you take. So it doesn't have to be barefoot. You can definitely have a comfortable slipper, but it should be really soft, no heel, really comfortable, and do it gradually. So maybe do 5 minutes one day, literally, and then you can start to add it in. But having a no shoes policy is a fantastic tiny change you can make to your house with big long-term impact on your health.
And I remember I went to some guy who did insoles, this is years ago, and he always said to me, your posture begins in your feet.
Yeah, it does.
Begins in your feet. And I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, when you think about hunter-gatherers, they didn't wear heels. You know, once you have a heel, you knock yourself out of alignment. Your whole body goes forward. So every joint in your body has to start to, well, not every joint, but the major ones have to start to adapt to bring you back. Yeah. But we're used to that now. So to come out of that, it's a bit like taking a cast off your leg. Yeah. You wouldn't take a cast off your leg and start lifting weights with your leg. You have to do it quite gently.
Yeah. What's it? The ankle bone is connected to the knee bone. The knee bone's connected to the hip bone.
Well, yeah. And in that way, your feet are connected to your neck. And I found that out the hard way. Yeah. So by working on my feet, I was able to help my neck as well. The tighter your feet are, the tighter your calves are. It's like a whiplash on your neck with every step you take. So if you're doing 10,000 steps, you're getting 10,000 whiplashes in your neck. So you have to work on your feet to get the benefit out of walking.
Annette, there's so much that's been a great conversation because it's very educational and created a great understanding as well as to what goes on in the body. And you know, to know that, you know, from the feet upwards, it really determines your posture. And there's a lot of people suffer with pain, back pain, and this all has to do with how we're walking, our posture, how we're sitting, all this kind of stuff as well. And I just love this whole conversation, and even for kids, because when we have this understanding of what's going on in the body, then we'll take priority then and really make an importance of all of this. And our posture also contributes to our self-confidence.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. So we talk about alignment more than posture, because posture can have a cultural aspect. So there can be standing to attention, which is what we're kind of encouraged to do in our culture. That good posture is standing to attention, which from a health point of view is not that great. So you want to be standing tall, but not necessarily sticking your chest out.
There you go.
Yeah, so I love the cultural aspect. Certain cultures have different ideas of what they think good posture is.
Wow. And I tell people where they can find you and your course and your free gifts.
Sure. So my website is www.malahidepilates.com. You can find me on Instagram at Movement Makeovers. I'm on Facebook, the same name. And either of those, you can find the link to my newsletter, and then you get the How to Sit Less guide. Okay,
brilliant. Annette, any last empowering thoughts that you can just a one-liner, maybe just tell people what they need to do to live a healthy and happy life through movement?
Well, the slogan that I love is exercise is optional, movement is essential.
Oh, I love it. Well, after this call now, Annette, I'm going to go for my little walk down to the end of the road and back again.
Fantastic. Good.
For my next Zoom call. So Annette, listen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and have a wonderful day today.
Thanks, Joanne. Same to you.
Now, if you liked this episode, tell me your best bits, tell me your best takeaways, and of course, tell me what you would like me to do in an upcoming episode. I'd really love that. And remember, your sleep success is the secret of your success. Until the next time, thank you. Bye-bye.
My free gift to you is my ebook, Improve Your Sleep, Improve Your Health. If you are serious about your health, you need good quality sleep. Dr. William Demond says, you're not healthy unless your sleep is healthy. And for many of us, lack of sleep can cause us to be grumpy and not work at our best. But did you know that sleep deprivation can also have profound consequences on your physical and your mental health? In this ebook, you will discover why sleep is so important and how sleep benefits us. You'll also discover the mineral and vitamin deficiencies that's caused from stress, which we actually need to help us have a good night's sleep. You'll find out how sleep works, and also circumstances or other illnesses that may interrupt your good quality of sleep during the nighttime, and some sleep hygiene practices that will get you sleeping well tonight. So the link to download this free ebook is a bit.ly link. It's bit.ly/free-sleep-ebook, and I'll put that link in the show notes below. So go there now and download your book and start sleeping well tonight. Thank you for joining us on the Empowering Family Health podcast. If you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, please subscribe to the upcoming casts. And remember to share with your friends so that they too can be empowered.